last year was my first year as the new development director, and it was a very fun year. It was a lot of excitement, a lot of opportunities, and most of all, a greater opportunity to get to know many of you and to get to know who you are. And that is what I'm continuing to do this year, is just to get to know all of you as families and who you are, and help you get to know us a little bit better. TCA really has been blessed. It is God's mercy and kindness that He has given us a huge influx of students, an amazing staff, wonderful families, and just, I know you guys already know this, but it's okay for you to hear it again, the best students you could ever want. The highlight of every day for me is to see your kids in the morning. It just makes every day perfect. And we're blessed, and I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here, I'm blessed by you, and I'm so thankful for you. On top of that, we had just an incredible year last year. We raised over twice as much as we've ever raised in any of the 10 years that TCA has existed, and I think in the full 25 years that included the 15 years of ENA before TCA last year. We raised almost $200,000 last year. Prior to that, we had barely raised 100, and we'd only done that once. Our average for those 10 years was around 50. That's what we were used to raising. And so we had one year where we did really good. We got to 100, and last year we hit 200, which was just incredible. It enabled us the freedom to really think about how to hire teachers that we really wanted to hire. It enabled us to think about how we wanted to improve curriculums that we really wanted to improve. It helped us to think about adding certain things that we really wanted to add. And again, it's just incredible. And believe it or not, this year we're on track to surpass it, which is crazy. It's crazy. Our year-end participation drive raised over $50,000, which exceeded what we did last year. We were greatly blessed with a $25,000 gift that covered all of our TCA startup debt. It was a gift that was directed towards covering all of our TCA startup costs, which primarily revolved around the ideas of remodeling and rebuilding out for the middle and high school classrooms in a middle and high school area. So those were things that had to be done back at the beginning to accommodate the growth into middle and high school, away from the old all preschool model that it used to be. And that was just a fantastic gift that we received during our year-end participation. As Michelle mentioned, we are now working on an endowment program, which is also just incredible to think about. It's something that I hope to unveil in more detail by the end of this year, but certainly it will be unveiled in its fullness by the beginning of the year, but it is well underway, and it really is exciting to think about a foundation being laid for TCA and TCA students for scholarships into the future. And I thank you again for such an amazing start to this school year. So why give to TCA? This is a critical ministry. In our community, it's a critical ministry. Education is the most important issue of our day. More than COVID, as you all probably already know. More than supply chain. I don't even want to think about it anymore. More important than inflation. More important than all of these things is the education of our children. The humanists and the secularists have known this. They've known this for 150 years. They've known it and they've implemented it in a way in which they now own it all. They've figured out how to control the future by changing the minds of our children. Christians are starting to wake up. They're starting to realize that this is the battlefield for the future. If you want a future, it's going to start with your children, and it's going to start with you making sure that your children are getting an education that is not an indoctrination. But it's always been this way. Solomon said that you must train up your children in the way that they should go, so that when they are old, they will not depart from it. What you're training up your children to do is what they're going to be. They want to teach your children, as Charlotte alluded to, what to think. That way they can manipulate, they can trick, bait and switch, sway, even deceive. Convince them that they aren't really a boy or that they aren't really a girl. Convince them that life doesn't begin in the womb. Convince them that marriage isn't between a man and a woman only. Fundamental truths that are so unavoidable that just 20 years ago, nobody would have even, they're moving quick, fast, furious. They think they have the momentum. And they do have momentum. But we hope to teach your children how to think, so that they're not so easily tricked, manipulated, and deceived, but so that they can find the truth. That's our hope. The former always leads to enslavement. Always leads to enslavement. The latter always leads to freedom. TCA wants your children to be free. That's our goal. That's our ministry. That's why this ministry is so important. That's why it's a worthy cause to give to, and to encourage others to give to build it up, to grow it. What does your gift do? Well, if you haven't noticed, and you probably have, TCA really works hard to keep your tuition affordable. It really does. It really works hard to keep the emphasis on not the frivolous, but the vital, so that you can afford it. But that's not true for everyone. Even an affordable education is pretty expensive. And there are plenty who need scholarships. There are plenty who need financial assistance, who need tuition assistance. And that's what our annual fund goes to build. About 20% of our budget is designed to offset not expenses that tuition wouldn't cover, but to offset the scholarship and tuition assistance that TCA needs to afford to students that otherwise wouldn't be able to afford it. Tuition covers the cost. The annual fund helps cover the needs for those that don't have it. The annual fund is key to what we're doing. Your generous gifts are what help us provide that education for those children. This is where we're at currently. We're about a third of the way there on our annual fund. Our annual fund is roughly $140,000. We're between 50 and 60, so we're crossing over past the third way mark. I'm very confident we'll hit it, but it's going to take some work. Gifts beyond the annual fund, which we've received a few, like I said, paying off debt and things like that, are great. They're actually at an all-time high. They're wonderful, but we still have to cover our budget. We we still have to make sure that we have enough money in the bank to pay our teachers. And so that's what we're going to be working on the second semester. And it's important. We've got a couple of things that are in the works. We're going to try and get grandparents more involved. We're going to try and reach out to them. We're going to try and get them excited about what your kids are doing. See if they want to get involved with this ministry. Many of them already are, and we're so thankful for it. We're going to look at a community event. An event that is designed for you to want to be excited about bringing people to not only check out TCA, but again, think about the aspect of the ministry behind TCA. I want you to connect me with people that you know, that want the future of our country to be something different than what it's moving towards. I want you to give me a call, or when I call you, see how things are going. Say, you know what, I got a friend, let's go have coffee. I think they'd be interested. So if you have people that you think, yeah, they believe in this ministry, they believe in this idea, regardless of where their children are, regardless of whether they have children, regardless of what age they are, I'd love to sit down with you and them and have coffee. Corporate sponsorships, letting the community know that we're involved throughout the community. I'm so thankful for our corporate sponsorships. If you know businesses, organizations locally that want to get behind something like this, and you have connections in there that, again, I can call them up and say, Mrs. Smith said you might be interested in having coffee with me. Let me know. I'd love to chat with them. I want to thank our newest corporate sponsors. Lineage Bank, we have our first bank sponsor. They're a gold level sponsor. They're right on the corner of downtown Franklin, and they're growing. And so we're really excited to be on board with them really early. Singing Success has moved up from a friend sponsor to a premier sponsor, and we're super excited about that. And they're wonderful folks, have been associated with TCA for a long, long time. Love them. Classy Cat just told me yesterday, or may have been today, I can't even remember, that they were going to re-up for 2022. So they're coming in. We're excited to be partnering with people in the community. And again, it just helps our involvement and letting people know who we are and why we're here and the importance of being here. I'm so excited to be a part of this ministry. I'm so excited to have all of you here. It is my heart's joy and thankfulness for all of you. And my prayer is that you have a great rest of the year. If you have any questions of what we're trying to do in development, any questions of what we're trying to do on the ministry side, don't hesitate to find me, call me, chat, say you want to go have coffee. If I call you, say you want to go have lunch, let's do it.